First off, so this is Julie here. Hola, pues.
Hola.
Oh, well, bien. Yeah, see. Okay, so listen, just introduce yourself to the class so they know that when they send that email out that it's going to you.
Yeah. So, hi class, I'm Yuli. Yeah, I live right now in Armenia, but I'm from Bogota. And yes, I'm the person behind the staff email, and I'm the one who is in charge of all your communications, all the things you need about grades, attendance, like any assignments, like exams, accommodations, like pretty much the class manager. Yeah, I think that's all. So that's pretty much what they need to know.
And oftentimes you get emails from people asking questions that are in the syllabus, and oftentimes you will respond back with, hey, it's in the syllabus, right?
Yeah. Syllabus will just send you guys to read the syllabus, and if you still have questions after read it, I will be more than happy to resolve it. But first, you need to read the syllabus. Actually, just reading the syllabus is the best way to just navigate through this class very, very smooth.
Yeah, if you have a hard time getting to sleep at night, just put your syllabus by your bed, and it'll put you right to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so Julie, thanks for being part of the call. I should also add that Julie is one of the 3 or 4 people who are in my ear. So in my right ear, I can hear the microphones, and in my left ear, I have Julie and Jamie and Jeff speaking to me, and like they see things that I don't see, and so sometimes they'll have a question or maybe questions from the stream or different things. Something that somebody says in the chat that they think I should respond to. So sometimes it seems like maybe I'm distracted up here or I'm lost with it. I might be distracted or lost, but it also might be that someone's talking in my ears. So yeah.
That's true.
Okay, gracias.
Ciao.
Okay, ciao. If you watch our videos in Social 118, you know that I'm trying not to impose my own belief system onto students. That what we're trying to do in this classroom, in this space right here, is to give students opportunities to think on their own terms and to understand the ways in which ideas and thoughts that come at them are often slanted in one direction or another. Our sponsor this semester, our very first sponsor, is Ground News. It's the perfect sponsor for this class, and I'm really happy to endorse them, and I'm happy to get behind them. If you subscribe for Ground News using the code in the description, the link in the description, you get 40% off the Vantage plan. That's the plan that we use in here. And I can't say enough how important this is and how valuable it is to have a better understanding of the ways in which news is coming at you and the ideological perspectives that people are taking who are sharing the news. So sign up for Ground News. It's awesome. Like, I hope all of my students sign up for Ground News, actually. So introduce yourself. Yeah, where are you from? What you know?
I'm Aaliyah Nash. I'm a
first year. I'm studying aerospace engineering. I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Hey, when you say aerospace engineering, what do you have in mind as a kind of a thing that you imagine doing?
I guess as the name entails, essentially building rockets. That would be really cool to do if I were actually be able to do that.
So something like that.
Yeah,
so you
building some kind of flight something would be really awesome.
Have you always thought about doing that?
It was kind of a last minute decision because I knew I wanted to do engineering, but I didn't know what field of engineering I actually wanted to do. And so I chose the one that sounded the coolest. And then I went from there.
You didn't choose sociology?
No.
I feel some kind of way about the way you said no. Okay, listen, why don't you go in the back room and then we'll have you come back out. I'll take this, thank you. And make sure you don't, hey stream team, can you close the door to the back over there by the bathroom so she can't hear? what I'm saying? We got that? Can you make sure that door is closed? Can you make sure that door is closed going into the back? No, not that one. Okay, I'm sure it's all right. Hey, can you guys, who we got? Bhavik? Why don't you all come up? But I'd like to get 2 more people. So we were going to do a conversation about Asians, Team Asia, but then, I don't know, it just became Team India. But what I'd really like to have is a couple people who are international students from India who would like to volunteer. That would be ideal. We need like one more. You're just gonna talk about, answer questions, talk about your lives. Who do we got, dude? So you're an international student. You're from India, dude. All right, come on, man. And Layla, can we get a name tag for him also? Can you go get a name tag for him?
Yeah,
What's your name, by the way?
Art. I'm technically born in the US, but I'm from India. Like I've lived there all my life. That's still right.
Yeah, that's good enough. How about somebody else? Do we have any women, by the way? Like, there's a lot of male energy up here, man. We have one more chair if someone wants to come up. Anybody? Dude, how about... no, you're not.
I'm not Indian.
Anyone? Anyone want to do it? You from India? Dude, a real Indian. All right, here we go. Yeah. By the way, when I was your age, I used to do stand-up comedy at a comedy club. Comedy clubs were just coming onto the scene, and I just started. And I can't really be funny in here because, well, first off, I'm not really very funny. But secondly, if I was funny, I can't really do any comedy in here because every time I do, somebody sends emails to my bosses that I offend somebody or whatever, and then like, fuck, man, do you ever listen to comedians? You know what I mean? All they do is offend people, and I'm not really offensive at all. But anyway, I always get in trouble, so I have to always tone it down and not be funny. So just like the comment I just made to you, like someone would be like, oh, he said a real Indian. You know, it's like, that's so offensive. I'm like, oh, God, help me, please. Anyway, all right, why don't you do just quickly before she comes out, just say your name and where you're from. Wait, hang on. You have a soft voice too. You gotta hold it close.
Hi everyone, my name's Joshika. I am an international student from the south of India, and I am double majoring in finance and economics.
See, like this is like Indians, right? Double major in finance, economics. You know what I mean? Bro, you feel some kind of way about that? All right, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Art. I'm from Pune, which is like in Maharashtra, around central India. And I'm a CS major, also a freshman.
All right.
Like a computer science major. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Hi everyone, my name is Darsh. I am a junior in computer science. I'm originally Indian, but I'm born and raised in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Bhavik. I'm a senior. I'm an industrial engineer. And I'm born in Gujarat, but I was raised in Guinea, West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Hi everyone, my name is Sid. I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I'm a freshman studying biology.
And Sid's here because Sid's white. All right. Am I right, bro?
Yeah, basically.
According to your parents. Yeah. Dude, is that offensive that I said that?
No, it's not.
Does that offend any of the Indians? Is that all right that I said that? Okay. All right, good. Whew. We're in good shape. All right. Okay, you're on. So basically, we're going to have a conversation. Listen, Are you nervous, by the way?
Oh, no.
Not at all?
No.
Ah, good for you, man. Good for us, actually. That's better. How come you're not nervous? How old are you, 18?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be nervous?
I don't know. I've done speaking things like this before.
Oh, yeah?
Kind of, sort of, in a way, yeah.
Oh, that's close enough. All right. Dude, so what do they have in common, by the way?
They're all brown,
Dude, all right. Okay, I got you. What else?
I believe. They're all Asian.
Yeah. What else?
They all have brown, blackish hair, straight,
All right.
wavy.
All right. Come on, man. Look at, hang on. What's she need to look at? Bro, what's she need to look at? There's only one thing. What's that? What they're wearing. No, hang on. Bro. Dude, name tags, man.
Name tags. Oh, yeah. They all have,
Names that you can't pronounce, but what else?
yeah.
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 Where are they from?
Where are they from?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't, like, exactly.
No. Like, what's their names tell you about them?
I think somewhere, South Asia?
Yeah. Okay, the Indian subcontinent. They're all Indian. Okay. Wait, did you know that, or was it?
Did I know that they were Indian?
Yeah,
exactly?
by their names.
I had a feeling, but I didn't want to say Indian just in case I was wrong.
Dude, why not?
Okay, so say Indian.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait, why didn't you want to say Indian?
Because there's other, like, what is it, South Asian countries that they could have possibly been from, I believe, but
Yeah, right.
I didn't want to say India exactly.
Okay. All right, that's fair. But India would be, so you didn't want to be offensive, or you didn't want to?
I didn't want to, I guess, stereotype, question mark?
Oh, no, you forget. You were here last class, right?
I was here last class.
The job is to stereotype,
stereotype.
okay? To generalize. So
Okay.
stereotype, here, let me just say what this is, right? Let me say to more generalize, okay? We use these words, and then we use them, and they become these negative things. By the way, okay, hang on, I'm not going to say. We use these words, and then they become negative things. But the fact is, we all need to generalize, right? It's
Right.
like there's not a problem. Like looking at their names and be like, they're probably, they could be from Sri Lanka, could be from Bangladesh, could be, but like given that India is like 1.4 billion people, go with India.
Okay, go with India. All right.
All right. But the idea, part of what this class is, it's so much about just having these open conversations, okay? And you're, as a woman of color, what's your ancestry?
I am mixed. I'm black and white.
Wait. What do you think? What's her ancestry? What do you think? What do you think her parents are?
I'd say somewhere in the Caribbean or African American.
Caribbean or African American? What do you think when you look at her? What's your gut? And look at her name too, Aaliyah?
Yeah, I would say a mix of Hispanic and African American, because my roommate's name's Aaliyah too, and she's a mix.
Bro, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, probably like Hispanic and Caribbean. I don't know. Hispanic and African American.
So, so your mother is?
My mom's white, and my dad is Black American.
Black American. Okay. So, all right. Let's do this. First question. Which one of these, when I was out here earlier, and we did where they introduced themselves, I referred to one of them as white. Because the one of them, their parents think that they are, and I'm going to just use they, okay? They're just really white. They've been whitened by culture. Who do you think it is? Look at, so first off, what are you going to look at? What are you going to look at to answer that question?
I guess clothing,
Okay.
and I guess overall demeanor.
Dude, you could start with the hiking boots.
I
but
could start with the hiking
yeah,
boots.
but don't start there.
Okay.
All right.
Don't start with
So clothing and demeanor.
clothing and demeanor. I'm not gonna say it's her.
Why not?
She's very. I don't know. Like.
Just has different demeanor?
Yes, she has a different demeanor than the rest of them. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. I want to say I think it's him.
The guy in the green?
The guy in the green.
Dude, bro, you look like my brother when he was younger. So, like, that would be a good guess, but it's not him.
It's
but
not him.
nonetheless, hang on, let me ask a different question. Which two of these people are actually international students from India? By the way, you can get closer if you want. Like, I don't know if you want to. You can sit at this end, maybe. Maybe just sit at that end. It feels like you're so far away.
Actually, from India.
Yep.
I think her and what's her name? Joshika, and then is it
Bhavik.
Bhavik. I think it's those two.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. It is her.
Okay.
About Jessica and Arth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And these two guys are Indian. I mean, mostly grew up outside of India. But you're an international student too, right? And you're an international student, but they grew up outside of India. Yeah. This guy, by contrast, bro, what you writing your thing about your parents? I love it. You grew up, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Harrisburg, PA.
Yeah. And so you're really in this world of, how much do you know about India?
I would say I know a lot because my parents were both born in India, and I talk to my grandparents often, so I'd say I'm still up to date on the culture and what goes on, and I'm still involved in it.
Mm-hmm. But when I make the joke about you being white and stuff, are you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
I mean, you wrote it in your thing, so I'm assuming you
Yeah,
can have fun with it. But do you also feel, so here, you ready? Here's your question for him. So he grew up in Harrisburg. So, it's like very much grew up as part of white culture, okay? What questions do you have for him about that? What's curious about that?
Do you feel more connected with white culture than you do Indian culture, or is it like equal? Or
I would say when I was very young, I was more connected with my Indian culture, but as I got older and I had more friends, and I started playing sports and got involved, I connected more with the white culture.
so, do you find that more of your friends are white?
Yeah.
What else do you have? Because there's so many interesting questions, right?
Have you been to India?
I have, I think, 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like it there?
Some parts I'd say yes, some parts not so much.
Do you think you'd like it better if you grew up there?
Well, living the life that I have now, I would say no. I like it better here.
So I have a question for the two of you. I have a question for them. What parts of India do you think he has a hard time with? Or that I have a hard time with? I've been to India 4 times, which is not very much, but what parts of India would you imagine that an Indian American would struggle with?
Probably like North India, like Delhi specifically, because of the pollution.
Uh-huh.
It's really, the AQI over there is like in the thousands or something, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about you?
Yeah, going off that, maybe just the environment sometimes For especially foreigners, the streets can be kind of unwelcoming, but that completely depends on where you go.
So Sid here, you know, you grew up really connected to Indian culture. So really, I'm just having fun with the white thing. No, you're very Indian. I mean, in terms of your connection to the culture.
Yes.
Right. But over time, like you said, you've sort of, you know, you just got, you get, man, when you grow up in a different culture, right, you just get connected to the culture that you're in. That's just what it is, which we're going to have a conversation with you two guys about that. So it's just natural. What part about India do you wish that you were really more connected with, or do you? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're just like, whatever.
Something I wish I was more connected to, I'd say definitely like cultural holidays. Since when I was back at home before college, I would say I was still connected to that, but now away from college, I have no connection to that almost completely. And living in the US, you miss out on a lot of Indian holidays and celebrating them.
Yeah, there's so many, right? Like, you just really don't get to connect with those. Hey, so bro, so you grew up in Guinea, right? Mostly?
Yeah.
Where? Well, hang on. Can you have?
So when I was young, I lived in India for like 4 years, 5 years, somewhere there. And then I lived in Dubai for 3 years. But then after that, for 10 years, I was in Guinea.
So what questions do you have for him? Guinea, so he lived just north of our two African volunteers from the other day, Sierra Leone and Liberia. So Guinea is just north of Sierra Leone.
Is that West Africa?
Yep.
How was it being Indian growing up in Africa?
Dude, by the way,
I don't
can
hear
I
about
just
that.
say something? Can I just say something really fast? So do you identify as mixed? How do you identify?
I identify, most of the time I identify as black because a lot of people can't guess that I'm white, which is interesting. But more black people can tell that I am white than white people can tell that I am white.
So do
and
you ever
black.
say African American or black?
I do say African American, but like on file, I usually put 2 or more races or mixed.
Yeah, okay. Because I was just thinking here, this dude right here is more African than you are.
Yes.
Right? Sociologically speaking, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, how is like? It's really interesting, right? You look at him and you think like, oh God.
How long did you live in Africa?
About 10 years.
10 years. Do you feel immersed in African culture?
Yeah, a lot more than anywhere I've lived before that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because you grew up, just like you growing up in Harrisburg, right? Like that. It's like me from Toledo. That's your foundation, man. So for you, it's all right. What other question do you have for him?
What's your favorite food?
So like that's a tough one because I have dietary restrictions. I'm vegetarian, but I do have large, like most African dishes are meat based. But whatever I can eat, I eat. There are African dishes that are vegetarian, like aloko and stuff. But like you were talking about couscous and stuff. But like, yeah, I eat that stuff. But since I have that restriction, I prefer Indian food.
So you wouldn't eat like venison, like deers that he shot? You wouldn't eat it?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't eat it.
Would you never eat it?
I don't think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Did you feel different? Did you feel different growing up in Africa?
Much less than, like culture shock wise, I had a much less culture shock going into Guinea than I had coming to the US. Because I lived here now also for like 4 years. I've studied here. And it's just that I feel like, I don't know, like I won't say in general African people, but I would say Guinean people are very welcoming. Americans are also very welcoming, but it's different with like Guinean people. They really like, if they like I can curse on Mike, but like if they fuck with you, they fuck with you. Like if they wife, they wife. Like,
Yeah.
Right. Would you say India and Africa is more similar than Africa and America?
100%.
I see that.
That's a really good question. Hey, I have a question for the two of you about these two, okay? When you think about them, both growing up outside of India, but they're both connected to Indian culture, right? But they're outside of India. And who's more Indian? When you look at them, you think about Bhavik and you think about Sid. Who in your mind is more Indian, or are they the same? When you think about India, well, first off, hang on. Can we just, I'm going to change my question a little bit, all right? How much do Indians judge? Like, who is and isn't Indian? When you come here as international students and you meet Indian Americans who are like, yeah, I've never been to India, but whatever, but I'm Indian, how much do you all as international students go like, come on, man? Like,
Well,
and then we're gonna go to Darshan. It's like, but you can go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I usually don't mind it, especially if they've not visited India. I do have a problem if they like talk about it, especially like demean it if they've never been to India, purely based off social media or anything like that.
Mm-hmm,
That's when I draw the line. But otherwise, it doesn't matter. If you've never been there and you identify as an Indian.
It doesn't. You're still. Are you still Indian?
Yeah, they're still Indian. Yeah.
Indian or Indian American or Indian and.
Whatever they want to identify.
So you don't think about it?
Yeah, I don't think about it.
Arth, how about you?
Well, I think it's like pretty easy to tell like who's been brought up in India versus who's been brought up in the US or outside. And I don't think it's a problem. Like, people can identify as whatever they want, and I don't really judge. But like, I do have a problem with when people like judge India, like demean it, especially because of like all the things you see on social media. Like, I mean, I see that shit too. But like, I feel like it's not fair to judge people if you haven't visited the country. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So it's really about. Wait, what do you see on social media, by the way? Do you know what he's talking about?
I do know what he's talking about.
What's he talking about?
There's a lot of bad stereotypes regarding India as a place and in general, and Indians in general. Like, okay, so I've heard my whole life that India was inherently like a dirty place, like the air is bad and the streets are bad and there's trash everywhere and stuff like that. That's what I've heard growing up and on social media.
Is that what you all are referencing? That kind of negative stuff?
Stuff like that.
Yeah. It can be tough. It's tough, man. It's not easy. If you're not used to that, you're not going to be able to get away. Yeah, let me just say that. Can I ask you a question, bro? I have a question for you. By the way, Darsh, we're going to zero in on the two of you in a second. When you're around, again, I want to emphasize, like, you're very much part of, you grew up in Indian culture. Your parents are from India. When your parents are from India, man, you're in it. You don't get away from it. You're gonna have the food, the rituals, the et cetera, right? Do they go to temple regularly?
Yeah, we do. Every Sunday, every 2 or 3 weeks, we go.
Mm-hmm. And you go also?
Yeah, I go.
Are they
with them.
burning incense all the time in the house? And
not anymore, but we have a temple downstairs that we pray in front of every morning.
Do you, when you're here around international students who are from India, do you tend to downplay the fact that you're Indian American, or do you lead with that?
I would say, well, personally, if I want to make a connection with them, I'd lead with that I'm Indian and I can connect to them because I can tell when someone's an international student, they're from India. But if I can tell that they're not from India, then I'll just lead with how I normally am.
Okay. So it's like cool. It's cool to have the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Now I would think that really, but a lot of people though, a lot of students here, when they meet international students, like Chinese American students who don't really connect with China at all, and they meet Chinese students, they feel like a wall, man. Like they feel shy about meeting and talking, and yeah, and they feel like I don't want to say that I'm Chinese American because people will judge me for not speaking Mandarin or stuff like that. Have you had any experience with that of people, friends, or?
Not necessarily. I don't believe so. I don't think I've seen that in action.
But can you imagine? It's very true.
I can't imagine.
It's very common.
I can't imagine that's a thing.
Yeah.
You would feel disconnected because you feel like you haven't experienced what it is to actually be there. I feel like that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes to a degree, African Americans who travel to West Africa to find their roots, so to speak, oftentimes don't have. Sometimes you get the reception, and sometimes you don't exactly get the. They don't exactly get the reception they imagine they might. Because it's like, you're American, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I have a lot of Black American friends, but I also have a lot of African friends, and I've learned that Africans and African Americans are very different.
Yeah,
they're very different culturally, and it's interesting. It's interesting to see that that even though we're the same race, the differing places, it does have an effect on how you view each other.
Yeah, totally. No, I mean, totally it's here. And that's true with every background. Okay, with Darsh. So you grew up in UAE? Okay, UAE, United Arab Emirates. What question do you have for this guy right here?
United Arab Emirates?
Yeah. So the Gulf countries. So, Dubai. You grew up in Dubai or Abu Dhabi?
Dubai.
In Dubai.
But you're
the
Indian?
Middle East. Yeah. Dude, Indians, they're all over the world, man. I'm telling you. Everywhere. Everywhere you go, you got Indians. So, although not many in Guinea, right? There's a very small number, like 1,000 or something, right? Yeah.
Do you say you're Middle East? I originally thought you were Middle Eastern. Do you say you're Middle Eastern, or
was it the sweater?
No, I think it's the beard.
It's
the beard.
It's the
face. That's what I always get.
Yeah.
But no, I always say that I always say that I'm originally Indian, but born and raised in Dubai, because that's still a pretty significant part of my identity. And so, but I wouldn't say that I'm actually Emirati or Arab.
Cool.
What other question do you have for him? Think about this. Think about like being Indian. Like, so here, think of a question, right? You got this guy here. He's of Indian ancestry. You lived in Dubai with your parents? Yeah. Siblings? Yeah. How many siblings?
I have one sister, one elder sister.
Okay, so think about this. This guy, he's from India, okay? Where there's almost 1.5 billion Indians, okay, got it? He lived in Dubai, where there's a lot of Indians in Dubai, bro. Every time I've been to Dubai, I stay in like the gold souk area, the Indian quarters. That's like right next to our house. That's where you live? Oh, yeah, because it's like whatever, right? So he lives in Dubai, grew up in Dubai, came of age in Dubai, in an Arab country. So what question do you want to ask this guy about his life, man? Wait. You know what I mean? He's ripe for 100 questions. Yeah. Wait, hang on. I'm going to go right. Actually, somebody up here. Who's got a question? Actually, go ahead, bro. You're on, man. You're on.
There's a lot of forced labor in Dubai from Indians and people generally from South Asia. How do you feel about living in a city where there are a large population of people who built the city are Indian, but had their visas and their passports taken? Like, does that weigh on you when you live in the city, or is that sort of? Or
just what do you know about?
What do you know about that? How does that affect you?
So I know quite a lot about that. I live in the older parts of Dubai, so a lot of laborers are over there. We get to interact with a lot of those kind of people. And in fact, it truly is horrible, because I'm not going to go into too much detail, but essentially there are certain labor camps where they don't have their passports, they don't get paid for months, and it's pretty horrible. So we try and do the best that we can. My family we're part of like a friend group, and there are many community service groups. So growing up, the first Friday of every month, we would go to one of these labor camps, and then we'd prep bags with lentils, oil, all of these kind of essential items, some snacks as well, and then give it out to these labor camps. It is quite bad, but we try and do the best that we can to support them. And on top of that fact, my family really pushes the ideology of giving back. And so obviously there are loads of construction workers, especially in the summer. It's really hot, and in those times my family likes to, just on a weekend when we're outside, we might get a couple of bottles of water or I don't know, refreshing drinks, snacks, and just give them out to these laborers, because we know how much they have to go through, and it's just something small that we can do to support them.
Do you have a question to follow up on that?
I don't have a question. However, I didn't know that was happening.
All right. Is there any Emiratis here? Who's Emirati? Wait, I have a question for you. Bro, are you Emirati? You're Saudi, right? Who's Emirati? I got to be able to ask a question from somebody. Who's Emirati? Bro, are you Emirati? You from the Emirates? Where are you from?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I'm from New York, but...
New York? All right, that's close enough. All right. Yeah. Wait, who's from the Abu Dhabi or Dubai? I have a question for you. It's not going to be a hard question. It's going to be a simple question. I'm not going to ask you to talk about slave labor. Bro, where are you from? You're Saudi. Dude, are you Saudi? Who's Emirati here? Not him. Wait, can anyone ask a question? I know there's a couple Emirates people here. Right? Oh man, no one wants to touch that at all. Okay, I have a question for you. How did the Arabs in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, UAE, and we just say the Emirates, right? How did they see you?
I wouldn't say too differently. So as you must know, visiting Dubai, there are lots of expats or immigrants essentially, and they are pretty much used to the high volume of international people. So it's not like they treat me any bad or anything. And in fact,
but treating you like, do you feel welcomed in the culture? Do you feel like can be part of the culture?
Most definitely, yeah. Arabs in general are very hospitable.
Yep.
I personally don't have, back home, I don't have many Emirati friends specifically, but I do have a lot of Arab friends, and some of them are Lebanese and stuff. And so I always feel very welcome whenever they often invite me to their houses and stuff like that, and everywhere. I feel very welcome, because that's just kind of the environment that exists within Dubai or the UAE. Everyone gets along with each other. There's a lot of diversity, but I would say, unlike America, where it's considered as a melting pot, everyone over there celebrates their own culture and celebrates together.
It's kind of living. It's like a salad. We say it's kind of like a salad bowl, right? Yeah. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. Yeah. But you've maintained your dialect. Your Indian dialect.
Yeah.
Are you South or North Indian? North?
Yeah. So I am Sindhi.
Sindhi? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So so the way Indians have scattered all over the world, Sindhis have scattered all over India way back when, especially during the partition.
Yeah.
Because our region is basically right next to Pakistan and stuff. So when the partition happened, a lot of my ancestors dispersed all over India.
Okay. So we're gonna thanks, man. We're gonna go to Babak here. Babak, do the two of you, do you and Darsh have something in common that you just don't, that you recognizing your mind on a regular basis, this different than Josika? What is it?
Joshika.
Joshika. With the H. Joshika and Arth. When you think about these two people and him, and Sid also, do you feel like you have a certain affinity to him?
He mentioned he's Sindhi. I'm Kachi. He's my neighbor from India. Like,
Okay,
a lot
but how
of our
about,
cultures are similar.
but how about, you grew up outside of India and outside?
I think I agree with him on like the aspect that I don't think I lost my Indian identity either. In Guinea, it's similar to like what you were saying. It's like what you also pointed out. It's like a salad.
Yeah.
It's not like America where you're trying actively to mix the cultures. Of course, I would celebrate their culture, and they would happily like we played Holi in my high school, and my high school was in Guinea, and I enjoyed Tabaski and stuff, their festivals, but it wasn't like we were trying so actively to do so, right? Like how it is in the U.S. So I still have that Indian identity pretty strongly in me, I think, like what you were describing. But I also adopted a few things from my Guinean friends.
But do you see yourself, do you see yourself as different than Jessica and Arth? Like to what degree are you different and how?
I'm not sure about art, but Joshika, I guess, since Joshika is born and brought up in India, I think she has, from my assumption, less exposure to a lot of other parts of the world. Especially, I think she does not have much exposure, I think, to Western African culture.
You would assume that.
I would assume, like, as in, from what I know about Indians, they would have exposure to white culture to a great extent. They would have exposure to even, like, this rising, like, Japanese culture with anime, but they would not have any exposure to West African culture. So I'm assuming she would not know much about that area of the world.
Is that true?
That is true. I have no idea.
And there's no reason you should, How about Arth? What do you think about Arth?
So Arth, did you grow up here, you said, or you were just born here?
I was born in New Jersey, and then I shifted to India when I was 4. My parents are from India, like all my heritage is from India.
So you lived your whole life in India?
Yeah, basically.
So I would assume the same thing as Joshika for him, but I know they are pretty different between themselves because they come from different parts of India. Arth, where were you? Sorry, I couldn't recall.
I'm from Maharashtra.
Yeah, so like he's from, you said from Pune, right? So I think the environment that he grew up with, though they are both from like big cities, like Bangalore's attitude towards adapting, I think, to like learning new cultures, learning new language is a lot more liberal and open in comparison to like, I don't know, I'm not gonna say he is like that, but like the general culture in Pune is more conservative, just like Sindhi area and like Kutch area. But that's the difference, I know. Okay,
so, all right, what are you hearing? So you're hearing this conversation with these 5 Indians, okay? Indian American, Indian African, Indian Middle Eastern, right? What are you hearing?
I'm hearing that the different places you guys have grown up have had an effect on you and who you are as people, and how you view other people as well.
And when you meet someone who's Indian, like from now, like you're going forward, right? You're a freshman here, so you're in engineering, so you got a lot of Indians in your classes, okay? What do you hear? What window shade? What veil is lowering for you? Like, what kind of questions do you have now that maybe you wouldn't have had an hour ago, or assumptions, or?
I guess I didn't know India was so different from place to place, which I guess it makes sense. Most places are different from where you go, like north, south, east, west. But I don't know. I guess is where you're born. Does it matter? Like,
yeah. Here,
Yeah.
let me show you a couple of things. Can you go to the, and then I want to take a couple questions from the stream. Oh wait, go ahead, go one. No, we'll come back to that. Yeah, go ahead, go one more. Okay, so here's Asia, right? I mean, these are all the regions of what's considered Asia. Okay, including the Middle East, by the way. So when you were in Dubai, bro, you're still part of Asia. But the way we talk about it. But here, let me show you a couple of things. Go to the next slide. Next slide. Okay, so you got 8.2 billion people in the world. 1.4 are in China, 1.4 are in India. This like what it means to me is this conversation here about India, which you've never had, right? You've never had a conversation with 5 Indians.
No, my aunt is Indian though. But
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So like then you see the import. It's like there's a lot of Indians, man. like there, and what we're seeing right here is there's so much variation. Like even like I was joking with Sid earlier, but this guy he has a culture that is so different than other Americans. Than other American culture. And the fact that you can live in these two cultures back and forth, because you can live in Indian culture, like he's very acculturated as an Indian, but you can switch over to just average middle Harrisburg white culture or whatever culture, I don't know. You know what I mean? So like he's the most multicultural. I mean, he's really multicultural. You guys are also, but this guy is like really, you're like that classic example of this multicultural person that Americans want to be, and then we know very little about him, you know. So it's kind of anyway. Go to the next slide. I just want to show you something. The top 10 countries with the most ethnic groups in the world. And India is like about 2,500, man, like ethnic groups, right? So you all hear them talking about the different places where they're from, and like, oh, you're from such and such a place, or you're whatever. It's like, dude, that's because 2,500. Think about how we talk about ethnic groups in the United States and cultural groups. These 5 people here, they're like, this is like, you could say like, for example, Sid here, Indian American, but we haven't talked about what's your ethnic group actually in India? Like this is a whole different conversation. Like he's not just Indian American. Like
So, in terms of Indian ethnic group, I'm Gujarati.
Gujarati, which has a whole world of meaning for other Indians, which doesn't have any meaning to you and I, right? But for you, this is big. You're not just, it's people be like, oh, you're Indian. It's like, actually, I'm Gujarati. But you wouldn't say that.
No.
To them, you would.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what they are, they're 1.4 million people in the world. You know what I mean? So it's like, the way we have these conversations about race and ancestry and ethnicity and so on are really guided by things that we don't see, like 1.4 million people and 2,500 ethnic groups. Here, go. By the way, go back. Liberia, 28 ethnic groups, number 10. So think about that, right? This is big. All right. Go forward. Yeah, keep going. I'll come back to that. So, by the way, I just want to say something here. Wait, go back. See, I put a circle around that area down there. That's Malaysia and Indonesia. So it's a very small part of the world, okay? But I want to show you. Go to the next slide. But Malaysian, look at the number of living languages. Like, the world is a big place, man. 700 living languages in live languages in Indonesia. It's like, damn, man.
Does Indonesia have a main language? Does it have like a?
There's 3 different kind of main languages.
3.
Yeah. But it's like in Malaysia, Malay is the main language. It's like this is big, right? Go to the next slide, though. I want to show you this about India. 121 major languages and 20,000 dialects as mother tongues, right? So he just said is Gujarati, right? But there's a lot of dialects in Gujarat, You know what I mean? So like, this is what's so fascinating about this conversation with these 5 people is you represent so much diversity in the world and so many people, and yet we just sort of pass it over sometimes. As though like we have this race conversation in the United States that is so narrow. Yeah.
Wow. The different dialects, is that difference between language and dialect?
Yeah, well, a dialect, language has like a formal structure and formal patterns and able to write it. And dialects could be like, wait, how many dialects do you guys speak? Indian? Yeah. 3 from India? So say, what do we want you to say? Hey, how are you? How's your day going? In one of them. How are you? How's your day going?
So like, how are you would be Ainki ayo in Kachi.
Okay, next
and
one.
he's laughing because it's similar in Sindhi.
Okay.
And then what was your next one? How's your day going?
Yep.
Anjo di karo ane to.
Okay, the next dialect.
And then in Gujarati, it would be like, Tame kem cho? That's his dialect. And how's your day going would be, Tamaro divas kevu jaye che?
And the third dialect?
That's just Hindi.
Oh, that's Hindi. Okay, yeah. So it's like, this is serious.
Yeah. Especially because English is very, I guess, straightforward. What dialects would? No,
I don't know. If you travel around the UK.
Oh, see, I was about to get there. Yeah. Actually, would a dialect be like a Scottish person?
Yep.
Interesting.
Go to the Caribbean. Yep. And so you really see how India, right? Like there's different words, different patterns, and so on. Yeah. So it's big.
So, Professor Sam, could you just distinguish one thing? Like, it's not just this. From what I understand, it's not just the difference between like how Scottish people speak English and how English people speak English. Like, if I spoke in Kachi with him, he wouldn't understand it, even though Kachi is a dialect of Gujarati, but he might understand it, because like it's a bit weird for me to explain it.
Yeah, because you're gonna have different words, different speech
patterns. Like the words would change themselves.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you, can we go to the question from the stream? And then I want to get to a question from you. Hey, by the way, can I say something to you? I thought of this. Well, hang on, I'll say it in a second. All right, go ahead. Stephen from England says, do you experience a culture shock when you came to the U.S.? Do you guys, how much of a culture shock did you experience coming to the U.S.?
I would say like a moderate amount, because I've been visiting since I was a child, so it's not an extremely new environment for me, but definitely staying here for a long period of time, I would say.
What's the most difficult thing to get used to? In the U.S.?
I would say just how friendly everyone is, especially like when I came to the US. That's not a thing back home. No one opens the door for you. It's not like a good morning, how are you, casual conversation. And that was something I had to get used to when I came here, just to be friendly and so that I don't come off as rude or mean.
Okay, I have a question for you, and then we're going to go to you. How are you different than your parents?
I guess, well, I'm different just like who I talk to, what I enjoy, who I hang out with, my preferences, completely different than my parents, I would say.
Meaning preferences for just stuff that you're into?
Yeah.
Like television shows?
Yeah.
Do they watch Bollywood? And
they do.
Yeah. And do you like Bollywood stuff?
When I was a kid, I would watch Bollywood movies, but now I don't watch them anymore.
Do you have any Indian American friends who like Bollywood?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. It's not common though, right? I mean, I like Bollywood, but we tend to adopt the cultures in which where we're raised, right? That's just the nature of it. So, Arth, question for you. What was the most difficult part of what has been for you of coming back to the United States and being here at Penn State? What's the thing that, not the most difficult, what's the thing that's just most notable for you?
Probably like everyday like interactions with people that I don't know. Like it's not like in India you don't really make conversation like little talk when you're like in an elevator or like opening the door for someone. Like that doesn't really happen in India. So people are a lot more friendly here. It did take some time to get used to, and also crossing the road over here for me is a bit strange because like in India I can just like walk onto the road whenever I want, just cross wherever I want. There's no like, I mean there are traffic rules, but like no one really cares. Like
Yeah.
So over here I don't know when to walk past a car or when to like let them go. So it's a bit challenging.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
I didn't know there were no traffic rules. Do you feel? Does it feel safer here?
No, there are definitely traffic rules. Just no one follows them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. No one follows them. So do you feel safer crossing the road here than you do, or is it just like a normal thing for somebody to just cross the road in India? And like, do they just slow down or? Like,
yeah, cars just slow down. I feel safer crossing the road in India because I don't know, the people drive like crazy big cars over here. I feel like if I got hit by one, I'd like just die. Like
here or in India?
Yeah, over here, like
Here,
people like the 4x4s, the trucks are crazy. So.
Yeah, I can understand that. I also rarely feel safe crossing the road here. So.
Okay, I got a question. Arth, what's the biggest difference between U.S. culture and Indian culture besides people being friendly? Wait, hang on a second. I'm going to ask you that. From what you've learned right now, what's the biggest difference between U.S. culture and Indian culture? Whatever U.S. culture is, because,
I have heard that in other places, like, the U.S. is extremely, like nice, I suppose, like open the doors and stuff like that. That's I've heard is, like, a really big thing from, like, America, I mean, like the USA and I suppose Asia and other countries over there.
How's that for you as an American?
The friendliness?
Yeah.
Oh, I enjoy it. Yeah. I greatly enjoy it. I also hold open doors and say hello and whatever.
Can I ask you a question? Between you and your parents, have your parents adopted the friendliness here, or?
I would say yeah. My dad's been here since the 1990s. My mom moved here in the 2000, so they've adopted most of.
They've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really interesting, right? Arth, are there any parts of Indian culture is big? When we say Indian culture, man, we're like, dude, it's big. It's like American culture. American culture is so complex. But what parts of your home do you think would be really cool to see here in the United States? What aspects of your culture?
I mean, food definitely. Like if I had like more Indian places over here, like serve good Indian food. Like I'd really like that. Culturally, not really sure because you have like little pockets of Indians everywhere scattered in the United States. Like when I was born near Edison in New Jersey, which is like a big Indian.
Dude, it's like it's India inside the
exactly.
US.
So like if you really needed to like have an Indian experience, you could go somewhere in the US and find people who are like-minded,
Yeah. So you could feel like you're there. How about, do you have an answer to that question? Like what parts of India do you think like it would be you'd like to see here in the US?
So this is more kind of related to the question about the difference between US culture and Indian culture. I don't know whether it should be here or not. Obviously, everyone has their preferences. But one of the biggest things that I've noticed is the the culture at home with families. So India is very family oriented.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so everything we do together, you know, obviously dinners and stuff like that every night I have with my family. Sundays, I tell my friends beforehand I am not going out because Sunday is family day, that's reserved. And I know that's the case for most families as well. Indian families and even all of like my friends in India and stuff. But whenever I've come here, I've traveled quite a bit around the US as well, and so I'd crash at my friend's house for the night, and so I'd get to talk to their parents and stuff like that. And it's just, I mean, it's been like 2 months, you know, it's Thanksgiving break, 2 months since they've seen their son, and they just say hi for like 20 minutes and they go to doing their own thing.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
like for us, I would land back home at like 11 p.m. and still my mom would sit with me till like 2 a.m.
She'd have a big meal for you.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing
she'd
is,
be forcing you to eat it.
exactly, exactly. And the thing is, so I'm quite close with my family. This is just a personal thing.
Yeah,
Not
yeah, yeah.
everyone is. So we're on call, like we speak on call every single day. But despite that, when we're there together, you know, that personal presence, that's a completely different thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so we will even just like sit together and do anything. And having that kind of family relationship is quite different than what I see over here in the US, because even like on the weekends, the parents are like, oh, I'm going to do my thing, you know?
Yeah. No, do you see that in your household?
Yeah, I would say so. Family's a really big thing growing up. Like, if my friends asked me to hang out 2 days in a row, I'd say I can't do that. The second day, my mom's gonna say no. She would never give a reason why I can't. She'd just say no, you're not going. That's too much. Yeah, that's what I was.
But basically, she's saying, hey, we have a group here. We have a family.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest difference would definitely be discipline and structure in your life for Indian people versus people from the U.S.
Are you guys? Would you shake your head? Discipline and structure. Yeah.
I'd say your parents, like, if you're Indian, your parents, they choose most of your life for a big part of it.
Yeah.
They choose if your friends are nice or not. They choose what career you want to pursue. They choose what if you want to go do this activity or that activity. Whether it's safe, everything that you do has to go through them first.
That's really interesting to me. This whole conversation was interesting to me because I've noticed like the adaptation of the nuclear family in the U.S. I have family all over the U.S. that I haven't seen in years, in a very long time. But then I call and then for like, again, 20 minutes and then hang up and it's fine. That, like, I suppose it's, I guess we're used to separation, and I guess we're not as family oriented. Well, I guess American culture isn't as family oriented as other countries. My family, personally, we all, like, it was 11 of us in a house for most of my life, until recently, but whatever. But I guess, because my family's Italian white, and Italian stereotypically stay in one house your whole lives, so I can relate there.
So you can relate that.
Yeah, I can relate to the whole family-oriented thing.
And a lot of it depends on modernization, right? As a culture modernizes, as people modernize, we start to separate into these separate units, and For me, it's really fascinating. It's damn fascinating. I just feel like if you really, when we think about the number of people in China, the number of people in India, how India is going to play such a significant role in the future, you really want to understand what's going on in India, man. So this conversation with you all has such value. For me, like, it just seems like, hey, okay, so, all right, hey, can we have a round of applause for everybody? Dude. Nice job, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you were very comfortable for as young as you are.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I really appreciate it. Nice job for you all, too.